Welcome to Movie of the Year, the only podcast that has the science and the screaming to unequivocally figure out what the best movie is of any given year. This season, we will focus on 2002. Tonight, we'll be getting through the entire first round. 64 movies enter. But eventually, only an Elite 8 will go on to compete for the rest of the season. I'm your host of 2002, because I was definitely alive during it and know the most about it, Mike Gravano. With me, to not battle, it's normally a game show. Tonight is not, is one. Ryan, welcome to 2002.
Mike, welcome to hosting, bro. This is totally fine for me. I'm not freaking out at all. And I'm sure that you're going to do a really, really fucking really good job.
I've decided to care less about tone and only about words people say, so thank you.
Yeah, well, you're one of those podcasters who not only creates a transcript of every show, but reads the live transcript as we're recording. Like, you don't even know, you can't even hear anything right now, right?
That's a good point, Ryan. I couldn't have said it better myself. Also with us, as always, is Greg.
What does 2002 mean to me? Thank you for asking, Mike. Thank you for listening, Ryan.
Ouch. Ouch to steal the question I was going to ask both of you. But no, Greg. You decided to ask it yourself, please.
Okay.
What does 2002
Don't you guys think
mean?
anytime you bring up a year from the past, you should have like three,
Of what it means.
like right off the bat, like a young Donnie Brasco was running the streets of Brooklyn. Stickball was the #1 game.
I'm just going to
We
say,
were all recovering from 9/11.
yeah, okay, so we're all, deep in 9/11. I think probably every show will get to hit up 9/11. This is one of the seasons where I was not a virgin. I was not a virgin
Oh, how rare.
for any part of 2002.
Uh-huh.
So that, that's going on.
Do you think that changed how you view movies and how you think of them
Hell
today?
yeah, dude. I was like way more laid back watching movies. I'd just be like, man, you know what? This isn't going to bother me because I've had sex.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Almost every one of your reviews in 2002, I don't know about now, but in 2002, when somebody would ask, you were like, damn, I don't know, it was all right.
I do have to say I'm one of those people, and it's so cringe now, but I am one of those people who had a profound reaction to 9/11, and it really made me depressed for like 4 years.
Nerd.
Yeah.
Loser.
Not because I was there or anything. I was just like 20 years old, and the world seemed to change.
You know what?
We all thought we were going to die every day.
If you have that kind of reaction like you did, Greg, maybe you should be allowed to forget. Maybe you've remembered long enough.
Yeah.
Please just forget.
Mike and I still have to remember.
I've forgotten a lot of other stuff. Does that count?
Nine didn't affect me at all. I just, would go on to shave my head and join the army. But I don't think it affected me at all when it happened to me my freshman year in high school.
Fucking, my life did not change at all.
Well, you don't care about much, Ryan.
I didn't even buy a
Except
flag for my
movies.
car.
What?
Not even a car flag?
Did you buy an Osama bin Laden dartboard where his face is on the dartboard?
I didn't, because I had George Bush on the dartboard. That's how fucking woke I was at the time.
Oh, very good.
That's pretty
Wow.
dope.
Early. I always feel like you got to give it up to the early adopters, because when the Iraq War started, you were like, I think this is wrong. I don't think we should do this. And a lot of other people, Mike especially, was like, no, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fun thing about me, I was rocking to Rock Against Bush Volumes 1 and 2. And it was not connecting the music and the songs I was listening to and the things I believed with the actions in real life.
So based on your two stories of 2002, Mike was rocking against Bush while Greg was rocking Bush.
Breathe in, breathe out.
Did you quit
So
listening to Toby Keith, Mike, just because it was against Bush now?
Yeah. Fuck Toby Keith, man. That's what I've always said. That's what I'll say again. Was he barbecue stains on everybody's T-shirts?
It could be a song
Didn't
of
he
his.
have a song that's called like "Here's Another Missile" from the U.S. of
Yeah, the red, white, and blue.
They
Racism
all
is
did,
cool
man.
now.
They all were like, I used to sing about partying, and now I'm singing about why it's okay to be a racist.
No joke, dude. The country went so bonkers.
Insane.
What a
Freedom
weird,
fries.
what a weird time. Yeah, this is like, France. How dare you say we shouldn't go to war? We'll never use the word French ever again.
Ever again. How do I get my favorite salad dressing? Freedom sauce.
And we
Well-
used to call it in like 2000. We used to call ladles Osama bin ladles. That changed. We had to just switch it to ladles.
Yeah, we thought we were just being cutesy because he was just a guy we knew.
The guy from the hood.
Well, I think I know exactly where you're both coming from.
They
and I
hated
think
our
you
way
now
of
know
life,
exactly
Mike.
where I'm coming from. They hated it, and they were jealous because freedom only existed here.
Are we? But do you think this will be the last time we talk about 9/11?
Oh, absolutely not. Like, because, well, you got to think about the runtime, right? Like the production time of a movie. And when do we actually see retorts to the climate of the time? And so for 2002, by the time the year's about to be over, we're there. Like,
Yeah.
movies in production can put little things in. I know the number one seed
I
of
was
this
gonna
year
predict, I
has
was going to say the first battle. we'll
has
talk about.
some stuff that, like, nobody says 9/11 necessarily, but there's stuff going on for sure.
Well, because at first you weren't really supposed to say too much. Like, you weren't supposed to say too much about it because it was like, well, it's so sacred. And so you had to just, like, allude to it at first.
The other thing, too, is that you still want your movies to play overseas. So that's the
Yeah.
most important thing with big budget movies. And so you can't do that much. And so we're independent filmmakers, people with not as much money on the line. Were they interested or willing to make movies about what we went through? And typically the answer, with the exception of, like, Michael Moore, the answer was sort of no.
Yeah, they probably were also, like a very young Ryan, against it and had other things to say that were more important.
Right. I think that we'll be seeing reflections of the Trump era for the rest of our lives. But this artist, like, it was, unless you were going to, after 9/11, talk shit on America, which that seems crazy. If you lived through the aftermath of 9/11, you might have your own inner thoughts, but you do not step out against America in public.
Even if you wanted to, you would whisper it.
Yeah.
People would be like, say what you want about America, but it's perfect in every way.
But also don't.
But also don't say a single thing but that.
And I think that's the test of a true great country is if you have a bad thought about it, you keep it to yourself, or there will be
Freedom.
some sort of persecution.
That's how you know what freedom is. Let it rain. Well,
I thought it was let it
That's the
rain.
year
Is
we're
it let it rain? That's
we're
so
gonna
much more
let it
daunting.
rain. That is 2002. That is what we're dealing with. We're going to take the quick set of breaks. And when we come back, just jump in to these battles. Round 1, Battle 1. Your number 1 seed is Spider-Man. Your number 2 seed is... Nope, 64th seed is About Schmidt. Ryan, for those of our listeners who don't remember Spider-Man, can you do a quick synopsis?
Yeah. All right.
How did he become Spider-Man, Ryan?
So he's got this uncle, right? And his uncle and his aunt are raising him in Queens.
Famously Queens.
What's his aunt, like a hot lady?
It depends. Not in this one. And
I think that also depends.
radioactive spider. Mike, do you have that Spider-Man edit where Aunt May from Raimi's Spider-Man is choked by a ladder?
I'm all about the Mayaverse.
When it comes to certain Aunt Mays, it definitely does depends, if you know what I mean, everybody, all right?
Are we already at commercial?
Depends. Sometimes you don't want to get up from podcasting.
Put a diaper on the floor. Piss on that.
Just podcast pantsless. All right, so that's Spider-Man. Greg, for those of us who don't remember About Schmidt, what do you got?
Oh, wow. I never... Are you going to do this in Schmidt voice?
Yeah, this is not the movie about the new girl character.
This is not About Schmidt, origins.
This is Jack Nicholson. I remember this is when it was like, wow, he's finally old. And now he's so much older than that.
Yeah. Did you guys see that picture of Gene Hackman, by the way, that got released?
No.
Been retired for 20 years.
Really?
And you can see that it's him, but fuck, is he old.
Yeah, dude, old as shit. Kathy Bates is in this. I think you might see her naked.
Naked, yep.
And that is, I think they're like two curmudgeons who are like slowly falling in love with each other.
Sounds adorable.
Do you want me to go?
You want to talk about it? Sure.
Yeah, so this is Alexander Payne, a guy who's like up and down as far as what people think.
Director Alexander
Yeah.
Payne.
Yes.
Even though that name sounds like a revolutionary like writer.
About Schmidt is sort of Jack Nicholson. We thought that he was like just at the start of this era of his career, and this was sort of it. Maybe The Departed 2 years after this.
What about As Good as It Gets?
That was 90s.
Okay.
What about the bucket list?
That was 97. Bucket List, yeah, it was around this
So
time.
that's a different phase.
But yeah, his wife dies, and so he just goes on a little journey, and you get Alexander Payne's sort of. He's just like he's one of those script writers that and directors who's like, I just want to put funny people into funny situations, and not like Haha, not Farrelly Brothers
Not a
Apatow funny.
Oh, yep.
Does this
We're on the
movie
same
get the
wavelength.
Dermot Mulrooney bump? Is it?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
there Mulrooney for the Mulrooney heads? out there?
Mulrooney is who also played Jessica Day's longtime boyfriend. That's
It all comes back to New
Uh,
Girl. With the
Mulroney
three of us.
is his daughter's husband or fiance, and he's like a long-haired cowboy idiot, so he hates him.
Love that for him.
It's a
All
good
right.
movie. Spider-Man though talks about New York right after 9/11. So I
Yeah,
don't
we
know.
were all New Yorkers back then.
And that's why people didn't get beat up for liking Spider-Man. Is that true?
Is the world better or worse because Spider-Man came out? Is it or the state of film?
The world better. The state of film worse.
Yeah, probably right.
Yeah, talking about how like there are some movies for adults in this year, and Spider-Man also coming out feels like sort of like the death knell.
Yeah.
But-
no more movies for grown-ups.
Super fun movie, and we wouldn't have Spider-Man 2 if we didn't have
That's
Spider-Man.
true. If they just released Spider-Man 2 first, we would have been so confused.
Ryan would have been like,
No.
"Am I gonna understand it if I haven't seen the first one?
I know, but
Who's
Greg,
his uncle?
that's not a joke. That's the literal question you would ask, though.
Will I understand it? I mean, who are the characters?"
All right, gentlemen. We have to vote. Let's buck the trend
Yeah,
right
dude.
now.
About Schmidt.
About Schmidt.
About
About
Schmidt.
Schmidt.
About
All
Schmidt.
right, so Greg's down for About Schmidt, Ryan.
Just to let you guys know how tonight's going to go, because this was such a big year for me, About Schmidt should have a bonus show, and this is the lowest ranked movie in the bracket. So I'm probably going to say that about 54 more times tonight.
So from now on, instead of movie of the year, this is just movie of the 2002. And
Yeah,
we
why
will
not?
do 10 seasons on this year. We do what we want, but Spider-Man moves on.
Yes.
Round 2 is not in this episode at all. Round 1, Battle 2. Blade 2.
There's my host. They are doing a good job
versus
now.
1. Hey, I'm trying to talk here.
Sorry, sir.
Greg, only your vote matters in this one.
Yay!
Blade 2 versus 1 Hour Photo.
What was the first one again? I was saying yay.
Blade 2.
Oh, Blade 2. I feel like I missed this whole, like, the Blade hype. Every time you want to start being like, when did the comic book movies come out? I guess this is right around the time where they really started to get good. Because people were into Blade.
There's a lot
Blade
of people
1
who will
rules.
say the first Blade is the start of the comic book.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think that's pure bananas. But a lot of people will say that.
But a lot of people also say he was the first person to question why some people just want to ice skate uphill. And that is true.
Does he also say, you ever play roulette, always bet on Blade?
Always bet on Blade. If you go to Vegas and you try to bet on Blade, they get so angry. They take
They'll
your
break
money.
your arms right then.
They're
Wait,
like,
does he say ice skating uphill because ice skating is a sport with 2 blades on your shoes?
All his if you look through between the lines, all of his references are Blade referenced.
Is the Blade franchise just competing with like the Face Razor franchise, who could have the most blades?
Exactly.
Anyway, this is
Blade
Guillermo del
hates
Toro. They did not
Yes.
keep the first director, and I've heard from most people. Again, I've seen Blade 1 once. I've seen Blade Trinity once. I've never seen Blade 2, but I could see how the GDT kicks it up a notch.
I celebrate the entire Blade franchise if you ignore that the third one happened.
I'm prepared to do that. And what was the other movie, Mike?
1 Hour Photo, which I believe is Robin Williams playing
Williams.
a bald, creepy serial killer monster.
I don't know why bald was important there.
I'm just explaining what he looked like. He's normally so hairy.
That is true, man.
So he's like looking at everybody's pictures, figuring out stuff about their lives, and then getting like too involved.
Robin Williams' toes are so hairy they look like Mike's toes.
Ew. That's a good analogy.
I have seen this movie. It is pretty cool. I'm a big Insomnia fan. It's the only Christopher Nolan movie I like is the one that everybody hates, and that's probably a better creepy Robin Williams. But this movie's pretty good.
And this is Blade is your 32nd seed. 1 Hour Photo is your 33rd. So nobody's gonna be coming after us.
I
no
just
matter what we
can't-
do right now.
I can't imagine like the emails and the letters that we get when we kick out 1 Hour Photo. I feel like Blade 2 is so much more revered. You know,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. As a diehard Marvel Comics fan, for some reason, like Greg said, this just missed me. But Blade 2 is so much more
Well-
in the conversation today.
I know Greg is the one who bragged about it, but you were both finally having sex.
Uh-huh.
So I think maybe that's why you didn't care about your little vampire hunter movies. And I did a lot.
So
Because if we're going to reveal it this way, I had yet to have sex.
yeah, so then Blade is a lot more important to you at that point.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
all I had.
the only thing you got going for you. I feel bad because I feel like in some world, this kind of points out what the issue is. Like 1 Hour Photo is a thriller, not like an erotic thriller, but it's a thriller. It's definitely more of a movie for adults, and it's like, yeah, but don't we want the fun movie with katanas in it?
Hey, yes, if 1 Hour Photo had katanas, maybe it'd be more well remembered.
Also, I miss Wesley Snipes. Snipes. Like he was in so many of the movies I watched, and then it ended right around the Passenger 57.
Well, I think the IRS
because he stopped paying taxes, and they were like, "You got to pay." I'm so glad we did it. We got Wesley Snipes. That was the problem. Was
They're
that
such
he
nerds.
wasn't paying his taxes, not the billionaires, the billionaires and millionaires. Ryan.
We're also about to lose Shakira, apparently.
No, didn't she win?
She won taxes?
She won taxes?
She said, "My
She says
taxes
these
pay
hips
your
don't lie.
salary," and she got a standing ovation that lasted for 15 minutes.
She just
By the way,
danced right out of the courthouse.
Not that I'm a Karen or the boy version of Karen.
Karen a lot of it.
Carone.
Marone. I'll say that to anybody. Like, I'll be at Dunkin' Donuts, and I'll just scream, "My taxes pay your salary." Like,
Yeah.
you can
Oh,
just
of
say it
course.
whenever you want.
Oh, of course. It feels so fun.
You
Nobody
two.
can stop you.
You two fuckers. My taxes pay your salary.
That is true.
That's literally true. For
Actually,
me.
Greg, it is true. For you.
Yeah, everybody's taxes pay my salary. Thank you.
Everybody in America donates 1 penny
One
to Greg's
penny
salary.
to me.
For Greg to be on this show. We really set up a system of loopholes.
The whole country is my pay pigs.
So I will start the voting first, and my vote is clearly for Blade 2. It's Guillermo del Toro, and everybody knows I love that, and it's Blade, and I love that. What do you grown-up lovers want to do?
Who are you talking to?
You two grown-up lovers.
So
Okay.
we'll just vote at the same
It
time?
is true that I'm sexually attracted to grown-ups. Okay, I don't know what we put on blast
Called
on this
out.
show.
Yeah,
For me,
bark.
it's Blade 2, and I feel like I should have reservations, but I have none.
No reservation, dogs. It's Blade 2.
Hells to the yes. All right, round 1, battle 3. Your 16th seed, The Good Girl, which is Ryan's choice, versus your 49 seed, Jason X. I believe this is Jason in Space.
This is a slam dunk.
Yeah, we're already running so behind, Mike.
Jason X. Jason
Nope,
X. Good
nope.
Girl moves.
You misunderstood
right
the
on.
slam dunk.
All right, next up,
You did a
The
reverse
Born
dunk.
Identity versus Secretary. This is difficult for me.
Where are you guys at on the Bourne series?
I'm at Secretary. That's where I am, right?
I will say, this is not about the horse. This is not Secretariat.
Oh, okay.
This is
This is-
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Oh.
And who
And she-
plays her? And
you know what?
James Spader?
I do
James
remember
Spader.
this movie now, vaguely.
The poster is very iconic. We're lovers of posters here at Movie of the Year.
Yeah, man, love a good poster.
I like Secretary is sort of well regarded, but I think that stock raise is kind of faulty, and I do think that I love the Bourne movies a lot more than average people.
I think if we were doing this 5 to 10 years ago, it'd be a slam dunk for Bourne Identity, but nobody gives a shit about Bourne.
Well, I mean, I still think that it was pretty revolutionary in what it did to action. Like, it was so revolutionary that, like, James Bond was changed by it.
It's a dope movie. It's fun, and it's interesting, and it's compelling, and the pacing is off the charts.
Now, this is the first one, so this is Doug Liman. So we don't get the Paul Greengrass sort of realism. But I do think that I still think it's the best one. And yeah, like, action movies sort of were forever changed, and you had to pick and choose at this point between being a Fast and Furious movie or a Bourne movie.
There's universes that should collide. Greg, what's your vote?
I'm going to vote for the Secretary.
Ryan, what's your vote?
Bourne Identity.
Mike, what's your vote? It's the Bourne Identity, even though I'd rather watch the Secretary, I do think.
Maybe we'll do a bonus show about that.
Yeah, writing that down. Next battle is 8th seed, Lilo and Stitch versus the
they get married?
57th seed, the Santa Claus 2, the Mrs. Claus.
Secretary? How do brackets work?
Yeah, dude.
Nope, Lilo and
that's a shame.
Stitch moves on.
I love
Next
Lilo and
up
Stitch.
is Men in Black 2 versus Talk to Her. Ryan, what is Talk to Her?
Okay, Talk to Her might be the best movie on this bracket. It's Pedro Almodovar,
Oh, shit.
who I drafted pretty early on in the director's draft that we did a
yeah.
couple seasons ago. Men in Black 2, Greg, is that the worst movie we've seen in theaters together?
Is that to the Johnny Knoxville heads?
Yes, it also has the Balchinians, the guys who have a scrotum on their chin. Actually, I'm talking myself into it. It's Men in Black too.
Ryan and I went to Men in Black 2 under protest with several other people who also went under protest because I think your girlfriend at the time wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And she was adamant that we see it. And she was like brooking no dissension. And it is the worst movie we've ever seen. Our friend, another friend of ours, got so drunk that she disappeared into the bathroom, and it's because it turned out she puked all over her feet, and she's wearing sandals, and she didn't know what to do.
So
But she got to miss the movie,
bathroom.
though.
And I remembered that, and I don't remember anything about the movie. Remember how good Men in Black was, though?
Dude, I
The
thought
first
that was
one?
like when we did it, not in our first season, but like it was early on because it was 97. I thought like, that's a fucking 90-minute
Yeah,
blockbuster.
dude.
Like,
Nice.
what a fantastic movie. And then it all just went to shit with the second one. So much so that like I had heard good things about the third one. Not the Chris Hemsworth,
Not
Yeah,
Men in Black
the
International.
Thompson
Let's
one.
keep it
Tessa
in America.
Thompson. But the third one where Josh Brolin plays a young Tommy Lee Jones, I'd heard that was pretty good, and I was just Men in Black 2. I was like, I'm fucking done forever.
So resounding talk to her.
Talk to her is a potential winner of this bracket.
Yeah, talk
Yeah.
to her.
I love
Also, just
Pedro
good
Almodovar.
advice.
Just
Like, no matter
talk
what
to
stage of
her.
your life. Yeah, just talk to her.
All right, next up, your 9th seed, Ice Age, versus your 56th seed, The Hot Chick. Somebody argue for The Hot Chick, which I believe is Rob Schneider gets possessed by a hot chick.
It takes the body over. Body swap comedy.
Cultural darling Rob Schneider.
I've seen The Hot Chick so many times. Ice Age
Why?
is not a good movie. Hot Chick, it was just always on, and there's funny moments, but I could not bring myself right now in this political climate to vote for a Rob Schneider vehicle.
No. And Ice Age, I think, was important because it was like, it's not
squirrel
just
thing.
Disney. And
Yeah.
Scrat owned everything.
Man, he wants that freaking, what is that, like an acorn?
Yeah, he wants
Ryan?
that acorn.
He wants it so
Scrat
bad.
wants the nut.
Just like Rob Schneider wants to work, but he can't
Is there
because
a song?
of cancel culture.
Is there a song about acorns?
Probably.
It's
Acorns,
acorn.
colon.
Yeah, with Scrat being all excited about it, that'd be great.
Fuck Rob Schneider is like, he just doesn't. It's not that he just has different political beliefs than me. All right, I'm not that extreme of a person. He is a fucking talentless fuckhead, and for him to go out and say my beliefs is what keeping me from work, bro. The only person keeping you working for the last 20 years is Adam Sandler's
Seriously.
probably half-assed, lazy, feeling forced to invites on the Grown Ups movies. Go fucking fuck yourself.
Riding on his basketball shorts.
All right, your next battle before we take a quick break is Insomnia, 24th seed versus your 41st seed, About a Boy.
Wait, the other Robin Williams crazy person movies from this
The
year?
other Robin Williams crazy person, he had a thing this year.
I love both these movies.
Yeah. The About a Boy,
About a
that's
Boy, is that
based on the
Hugh
Hornby
Grant?
book?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
And it's Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant and a young Nick Holt.
Nick Holt.
Oh, yeah.
Beast. War Boy.
From
The Russian Peter.
the Queen, yeah.
And you're
Or
getting
the,
like
the
the,
great.
full Hugh Grant experience in this one, right? He's just being so charming.
It's British high fidelity, right?
Yep.
It's just a fucking total douchebag, spitting yarns and like talking about the
Talking to
rules
the
of a
camera.
shitty life, yeah.
Yeah.
Until he gets his comeuppance. It's
Charming fucking kid. Precocious kid.
Toni Collette, who
Nice.
Still scary.
But Insomnia is a movie that I haven't seen in a long time, but it's one of the few Nolan movies where I'm like, this is structurally sound.
And we love Nolan. Well, maybe
It's-
you don't, because that was a pretty strong thing you just
Yeah,
said
I don't
about
like
him.
him.
Yeah.
But
This
I
is
like it.
before Nolan decided his movie should try to prove how smart he is to his audience. He just
Yeah.
wanted to make a good movie.
Tenet proved to me how smart I am because I figured it out.
I didn't. I thought that it
didn't
was.
watch it, and I'm not gonna watch it.
I thought that it was the sequel to last season's winner. I read it as 10 ETs.
Oh man! If you liked if you liked a movie that has one ET, imagine this one where 10 ETs pop up. Elliot's like, "This is too many ETs."
If there's 10 ETs in one movie, are they doing the Thriller dance? Yes or no?
Yes. And there's a scene where he tries to shove them in a closet, and then a bowling ball and hula hoops and things are falling on
They
his
can
head.
add a move where they all pop the head up way high up on the stalk.
Is there a
All right, I'm in. Tenet.
is there a scene where they're trying to find a stuffed animal, but it's hidden in the closet with 10 all they see
10
is
freaking
ETs?
ETs. They have no
And
idea
there's-
which one.
which one's the stuffed
teddy
animal?
bear.
All right, I am going to need a vote between 10 ETs
10
and Tenet.
ETs. 10 ETs.
AKA Insomnia and About a Boy.
I'd like to see you kill 10 ETs with hammers with your friends. No way. You
Ew,
couldn't
what?
do it.
Mike, can I make a request? Can
That
we?
was Twitter. That was deep Twitter lore. Sorry.
Can we make me? Can you make me feel better about this vote and just move the loser to the bonus bracket immediately?
The loser will be right to the bonus bracket.
I think About a Boy is a strong movie, and I think Insomnia would almost undoubtedly make a better podcast, but that's not what the point of tonight is necessarily. I'm saying About a Boy.
Greg.
In the fashion of 2002, I want to say keep Nolan, 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 Nolan.
I agree. We should keep Nolan. Insomnia moves on. About a Boy moves on to the losers bracket. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more battles.
You sound like a sheep.
I am a robot talking about battles.
Our 9th battle is going to be a tough one because it's something we hate. Our 4th seed is Harry Potter and One of His Adventures versus your 61st seed, Morven Collar. So I will say what Morven Collar is, and I know I'm saying it wrong. It's basically like a Scottish road trip, grief and fun with friends movie.
Great. Slam dunk.
This is Lynn Ramsey, who went on to do We Need to Talk About Kevin, having no idea how much we actually needed to talk about that actor.
We need to talk about Kevin.
I don't know who the actor is, so that's fun.
One of my favorite movies of the year that it came out, I'm blanking on the name, the Joaquin Phoenix Assassin with a Hammer.
You Were Never Really Here?
Yes.
Good pull, Greg.
I don't ever want to do any of the Harry Potter movies or ever talk about it. It's just poison at this point.
Does it help that this is Chamber of Secrets, his second adventure?
And the only one I've never seen.
I think that might be the worst one because I think there's some charms that the first one has that the second one
like Noodle Boy on top of Ogre.
Yeah, I would say
when John Williams is like, we're gonna just do a Christmas movie for a while with the music.
This is Christmas time. This is Christmas time.
See, for me, like when it comes down to the sequels, like even with the Bourne movies that I love, can I tell you what happened in Supremacy as opposed to Ultimatum? I don't know if I can. You know, like even the Fast and the Furious movies get hard for me at points. But I think as far as that goes, Harry Potter is the worst of it. They all blend together so fucking hard that I don't see a point. I've never seen Morven Collar, but is that even how you say it?
Morven Collar.
Morven Collar. Why do this movie? Why? I mean, is the reason like it's so O2 we have to? It was such a phenomenon.
If a movie from Scotland is this high up, it's because it's really good. It's not like we're like inundated with movies from Scotland. Almost any time you have heard of a movie from Scotland, it's a good movie.
On these intro nights, we're always looking for our come and see spot, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's this one.
Come and see our Rons. Yeah. This is the one thing where we all just turn our nuclear keys and say never Harry Potter.
I think so,
Yeah.
And bring it. Bring it, listeners. Scream at us. Try to defend your position.
This is not a show for TERFs.
Yeah, if you
You're
come
not
at us
invited
because you're a
here.
TERF supporter, then...
Oh no, you're going to stop listening. Your next battle is Austin Powers in Gold.
As soon as you said in,
versus,
I'm like out. Like, it's not the first one.
Versus Bend It Like Beckham.
Oh.
I want to watch Bend It Like Beckham. I watch soccer. Did you know they all bend it when they kick it?
I didn't.
They're so good at that.
I thought that's not a David Beckham original.
He does this thing called like the Olympic goal, and that's what they talk about in it. But like just kicking the ball with a bend is like something that everybody in footy does. But I would be very excited to see this.
Charming, cute little movie. Keira Knightley's launching pad.
Introduction of Keira Knightley. We don't have to watch somebody eat their skin, which is, as Ryan feels about feet, is how I feel. Thankfully, there's way less skin eaters in the world than there are feet, so I have to deal with my phobia less often than he does his.
I did that fucking thing where... you can't do this on this episode, but I did that thing where you said the second movie. Greg was like, oh, I love Bend It Like Beckham. And then the first movie completely deleted from my head. No idea. What was it again, Mike?
Austin Powers and Gold.
yeah.
Nope. Bend It Like Beckham moves on. Next up, your 13th seed, Scooby-Doo, live action, versus your 52nd seed, The Transporter.
This Scooby-Doo movie has developed a weird meme following, and that part, I have to say, I'm a little drawn to it because of that. I've really enjoyed some of the...
Do you remember the twist ending, Greg?
Of Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
I do not, Ryan.
Greg has very few fucking pop culture hatreds, and this is definitely one of them.
Oh, really?
Oh, is it end with Scrappy-Doo?
Yeah, he's the killer.
Fuck, fuck. Wait, he's the bad guy,
And
though?
this is James Gunn.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. I think now I'm into it. I'm back on board. Scrappy-Doo is the worst thing in the world. Way worse than
Cousin
racism.
Oliver.
I've heard when Greg talks about Scrappy-Doo, he'll sometimes call him Crappy Poo.
Dude, when
Greg,
I was a kid, I loved Scooby-Doo. Sometimes like the Monkees would be on it. Sometimes the Harlem Globetrotters would be on it. But most of the time, they'd be like, oh, hey, also, this is not just Scooby-Doo. It's Scooby-Doo and Scrappy, too. Get that shit out of here. I don't want to hear that fucking little dog talk. God, Scrappy-Doo sucks. It's so bad.
All right. So you would rather watch The Transporter?
But which
is a Jason Statham.
No,
not Crank.
I feel like the point of the Scooby-Doo movie though is that Scrappy-Doo sucks.
Yeah,
and
they're
that makes me
trying
really
to capitalize
like
on the hatred.
And it's directed by James Gunn?
No.
It's written by.
Directed by Raja Gosnell.
Written or story by James Gunn.
The Transporter has almost no cultural footprint at this point.
Man, remember when
if it was Crank, I would be screaming at you.
They put Jason Statham in the Fast and Furious movie. It's like, who cares? We don't care about this guy.
All right, Scooby-Doo moves on.
As it well
Next
should.
Up, your 12th battle, 20th seed is Battle Royale versus Battle Royale of different kind. Your 45th seed, Spy Kids 2, The Island of Lost Dreams.
Well, the U20s will take Spy Kids 2, and Battle Royale is a fucking incredible movie.
Hell yeah, Battle Royale moves on. Sorry, Greg. Did you want to talk about Spy Kids 2 at all?
Was Battle Royale, is that the like foreign movie that's kind of like Hunger Games-ish?
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that, even though I've heard it's hyper violent.
It's
super violent.
awesome.
Japanese kids get dumped on an island and say, hey, there might be weapons around. Do what you want.
I am known on the show for my not liking horror, but so much of not liking horror is because I hate gore. But this movie does sound cool.
No horror, a lot of gore. Next battle is Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones versus 24-Hour Party People, which kind of follows England's alt scene from like punk through new wave through what's next up, raves, and it's Steve Coogan.
Yeah,
is the star.
And the director, it's the guy who did the Trip movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it's got the Coog in it?
It's got the Coog. Versus
Attack of the Clones.
I was wondering... I've been wondering all week about, because I knew that Attack of the Clones came out in 2002. I had no idea what we were going to do with it. Cultural footprint then, strongish. Now, probably less so.
Is it the weakest of the three?
Or
like the one people shit on the most?
It's definitely the worst of the prequels, and it used to be the worst of the Star Wars movies. Now, Revenge of the... What's the last one?
Yeah. Shit, I don't remember. Revenge of the Skywalkers?
The last one is definitely the worst
Episode
one.
9.
It makes me want to. It kind of makes me want to see it though, because I want to be like, which is worse?
We didn't do Phantom Menace when we did 99.
Yeah,
and I don't think we were surprised by that. We were like, no,
Precedent.
we're not doing that. And 24-Hour Party People is
Phantom
is really good.
My vote is 24-Hour Party.
Would you guys be willing to discuss an Attack of the Clones bonus show?
I would do it. I would like to get in there and talk about, because it's so bad. But now that there's like several very bad Star Wars movies, I think it would be kind of interesting to be like, okay, what is really wrong with this, and who's to blame? That's what I want to get to.
Plus,
who's to blame?
It was so weird. It was so strange at that point. Like a bad Star Wars thing. Now it's old hat. Like we're so used to that.
Yeah. Like
there's more bad than good.
You know now by like the third scene, you're like, oh, it's one of the bad ones.
This is what I dedicated my life to.
So we're gonna move that.
All right.
We're gonna move that into the bonus contention.
Just to do a little recap: Scooby-Doo in, Star Wars out.
We're not sure.
That is the kind of show you're on. All right. Next up is Red Dragon, the
Hannibal
prequel versus A Walk to Remember, the Mandy Moore weepy.
Oh boy.
I know where I'm feeling. I'm a Moore man. I always want more, man. I love Mandy Moore. My vote is A Walk to Remember.
Mike, as a writer of some of the worst raps I've ever heard, this is your all-time low.
Not all-time best?
No. Red Dragon is a stinkeroo, although it does have, I think, Ray Liotta at a dinner party that Hannibal's throwing.
That's Hannibal.
That's Hannibal?
Yeah.
Okay, so
where he eats his own
the
brain.
best part of Red Dragon is in a different movie.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Is this Ray Fiennes then?
That
so.
sounds right. Yeah, he's the killer in it.
From Ray to Ray.
Talk about Star Wars, man. Like, Silence of the Lambs and Manhunter, that was it. Those movies were the best. And then they were like, All right, keep pumping them out. Let's do it.
I have like almost
all
no
walking?
take on this. I guess I'm leaning a little bit towards Red Dragon, but I don't feel like watching that.
I'll let Mike take his fucking cheesy mall movie.
She wears overalls, guys.
All right, I'm in.
All right, next up, Hard Battle, 15th. Number 12 seed is Adaptation. Your 53rd seed is Mr. Deeds.
Okay.
All right.
Adaptation is one of my favorite movies of all time.
One of the best movies ever.
Your 16th battle.
We're just moving on.
21st
No
seed.
Mr. Deeds
Yep.
suck?
I think so.
No.
Winona Ryder's in it.
In Mr. Deeds?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, she's blonde,
so is,
right?
What's the guy we like?
John Turturro with his
Thank you. That's the guy we like.
frostbitten feet.
Frostbite foot. Yeah.
Why?
You're 20.
I'm sorry, Mike, but why is it that it's not just that we've all seen these movies, but how did we all see them separately and yet have the exact same memories of them?
Because I haven't seen it, but all of that is in the trailer.
Yeah. We saw a lot of trailers in this year.
Oh, yeah. Your 21st seed is The Ring, a Mike high school personal favorite. And then your 44th seed is Die Another Day, which I do believe is Pierce Brosnan's last.
And Halle Berry,
This
right?
is one of the really bad ones, right?
It's hard to get through.
Is this the one where he says, "Oh, is this the one with Dr. Christmas or whatever"?
No, that's-
Oh,
I thought Christmas comes only once a year.
man, we shared
'Cause that's
the
Denise
look we
Richards.
shared after that line when we saw it in the theaters was priceless.
I think that's Tomorrow Never Dies. But this was at a point where, because in a lot of ways, Pierce Brosnan was my first Bond. Like, I didn't really
Yeah.
know or care. And before that, it was Timothy Dalton, which was just a dud era. So I was like, I guess I'll go see these movies. But I remember, even with GoldenEye, a movie that everybody loves, watching all of the Pierce Brosnans and being like, just in one eye and out the other. Like, not sticky, stupid bullshit.
If it were not for the N64 game,
Yeah.
GoldenEye,
Uh-huh.
that is like that's one of those movies, GoldenEye,
That's
with
the
like
claim to fame.
the opening sequence. You're like, this is a stupid fucking movie, and you've just started.
I heard on a podcast the other day two guys arguing what was better, GoldenEye or Perfect Dark. And if you heard that conversation, Greg, could you pinpoint the birth dates of exactly those two dudes?
Yeah, seriously, these are people like born 1980 to 1984.
What is Perfect Dark?
Oh, dude, what isn't Perfect Dark? Perfect Dark is like the spiritual sequel to GoldenEye. It is so good.
Video game?
Yeah.
The Ring moves on.
By Rare.
Next up is your number 2 seed, Lord of the Rings. I'm guessing The Two Towers versus your 63rd seed, Stuart Little, 2 Towers.
Oh, a battle of second movies.
You've got to like have a lot of chutzpah in 2002 to retain the name The Two Towers.
You're more afraid of nerds yelling at you than you are of the rest of the country yelling at you.
This is a good movie, though.
They're both sequels
Yeah.
about where their hero is on the shorter side. Hobbits and mice.
Both have
Hobbits and
hairy
mice.
feet.
That's a movie I want to watch.
Did we get in a big argument? This might have been for the pay pigs, but did we get in a big argument? It was me and Mike arguing who liked Lord of the Rings less. And then Greg stepped forward and he was just like, well, I'll take first place.
I like it. I'm a fan.
And Ryan and I are like rap battle dissing each other like, here's how much you like Lord of the Rings.
I understand that I'm in danger by saying this, by taking over second place from Mike and leaving Mike as the person who likes it the least. But I was shocked at how good of a time I had with the 99 season? No, 01 season.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
01, right?
Yeah,
It was 1, 2,
Fellowship.
3.
Yeah.
With this movie. I don't know if it's a slam dunk to make the Elite 8, but I would say over Stuart Little 2, it probably is.
I think so.
My vote would go for Stuart Little if they called it Stuart Little and named it that way, but they're
man.
cowards, so Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
Film
moves
naming
on.
technology had not really gotten there yet.
Yeah, but did you guys
No,
hear the news
there you
today at the day of this recording? Now You See Me 3 is coming out, but it's not called Now You See 3 or Now You 3 Me.
See me.
And why wasn't the sequel called Now You Don't?
God
God
You're
damn
gonna
it.
have to get over that, man.
Never. This is what I die on. Your next battle is, I feel like, pretty equal in both cultural relevance and in thoughtfulness. Your 31st seed is Jackass the movie. Your 34th seed is The Hours.
The fake nose movie.
It's gotta be.
The fake nose movie,
It's
Jackass?
gotta be Jackass, right? Like
Yes.
Jackass is.
I mean, I'm not now, and I'm not saying I will be later, but I'm not now thinking about how we would put together a podcast about this. But the relevance of this Jackass movie in my life, and before the movie came out, I was like, it's a show I've seen before, but that fucking movie and the subsequent ones really
totally different.
What a lasting impact they've had.
Yeah, dude.
I was at Jackass Forever on opening night without even thinking about it. It's been 20 years of movies.
Tearing up seeing how old they are when they did at the end, being like, look at how young they used to be, and they've all just been friends. And the hours, is that Mrs. Dalloway, Virginia Woolf, and a person in modern era, like jumping through different times?
And I want to say Nicole Kidman won the Oscar with the fake nose.
So Jackass the movie?
Look, based on...
We got to be true to ourselves.
The fact that we have to produce shows, that scares the shit out of me. But all the rest of the criteria, I vote Jackass.
Also, it might be up against a heavy hitter in the next round.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think we're mostly out of heavy hitters. I don't know if...
Well, we just got to Jackass.
I know.
You fucking Jackass.
Your last one before we take a break is Reign of Fire, Greg's pick, versus Russian Ark, which is an experimental historical drama.
So I watched this movie for the second time last night, and
did you want us to like applaud or anything?
There's never been a movie like this. Do you know what it's about? Like, do you know any more than that?
I think no. I could have lied or quickly Googled, but I cannot. I said everything I knew about this movie.
A boat full of borscht?
It's a bunch of the characters, or a bunch of people from like the history of Russia, from like real people to just like soldiers and shit. And they're walking through this very famous museum in St. Petersburg. And the point of the view of the movie is like, I think that you're supposed to be like a ghost that haunts the museum. And so it's sort of like they all are. All of these historical figures in the history of Russia are sort of there, and they're like looking at the art, and they're saying like, well, I mean, that's not really what happened. And they're talking, at some points, they're talking to the patrons of the museum, and it's just this, it's from like, at some point in Russian history on, all the way through as we go through this museum. And of course, the final description that the one thing I hadn't said is that it's a fucking oneer, and it's the most impressive oneer I've ever seen in my life.
The whole movie is a oneer?
90 minutes, one shot, and not even like that rope shit. I mean, I'm sure it might be there, but I didn't see it.
Like where they like move into somebody's back.
Yeah,
and then...
it's the whole thing is performed. It's like you are shaking when you watch this movie.
Because like if somebody messes up now, we're 70 minutes into it.
There's a couple of people who
God!
clearly look in the camera.
Yes, dude.
Like it's just so hard.
It's so hard to
and you
never
hear the director go, keep going.
Look right down the barrel. Your eye just drawn to it.
I've never seen a movie like this before.
That sounds amazing and life-changing and so artistically relevant. Humans versus dragons with axes and shotguns.
Yeah, Apocalypse, Matthew McConaughey, Christian Bale. Hello, Gerard Butler.
This would be a major disservice of the year if we fucking voted for this dragon movie.
Well, it's Russian Ark, Ryan. Is this really the climate where we want Russia explaining itself?
What else? You want them to annex us next?
Russia's the dragon in our world, and it may lead us right unto an apocalypse, Ryan.
Greg, what's your vote?
That Russian Ark movie.
Ryan, what's
Russian
your vote?
Ark.
Now I get to say Reign of Fire. Russian Ark moves on. Reign of Fire, you will go straight to the bonus bracket. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, you guessed it, more battles. Your next battle, 18th seed Signs versus 47th seed Bowling for Columbine. Which is about Signs in its own way, don't you think?
These are two movies.
They're of its time.
Yeah, I thought I would have a sentence by the end of that sentence. Very of its time.
Have we ever done a documentary? I feel like we talk about this every year.
I don't think we have. Michael Moore would be the one to do, and also in different ways the least one to do. His movies do not hold
really
up.
Talk about documentaries, right? It could be interesting to talk about why they were so of the early 2000s and faded away.
Man, so he got Bowling for Columbine and Fahrenheit 9/11 out this soon?
Yeah, well, Fahrenheit 9/11 was like a couple years after 9/11, right? Because it was like collected a lot of the.
Oh, this is before Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And this was before it was like so obvious that he's pretty manipulative as a documentarian, and I think he's the one who like made documentaries kind of pop off again, and then also he's the reason why they faded away.
And plus, totally irrelevant now in 2022 about gun laws and getting guns off the street.
Yeah, we fixed it.
There was no more high school shootings after this, Mike? Am I correct?
No. Columbine was the last American high school shooting.
Where are
in
you
that
guys?
world.
I'm a little surprised that Signs is seated so low. It's not my favorite movie, but it has its fans, right?
And certainly
and-
recently, I feel like it has come up again.
And as a youth, which I was when it came out, I was a Shyamalan lover, and I put this up there. I think this is one of his like top 3 or 4.
I think we didn't realize how bad it was going to get. And so we were like, hey, that wasn't good enough. And it's like, no, actually, that's top tier Shyamalan.
You have no idea.
Super unproblematic cast. It's Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix.
So, what do we think is more worth our time? Greg, I'm going to have to ask you first.
Signs. I'm borderline excited.
Ryan?
Let's let's do let's do an M. Night.
M. Night moves on. Your next battle. Punch Drunk Love, your 7th seed, versus your 58th seed, Far From Heaven. Now, before we just move Punch Drunk Love on, here's my argument for why Far From Heaven deserves a bonus episode. It is directed by the guy who did Carol and stars Julianne Moore, which makes me think it might be in the same vein of awesome.
No, and it's similar to Carol, but almost a little bit more extreme. It's done in that very old school, like bright, saturated colors. He's trying to. Far From Heaven is like trying to be a Douglas Sirk movie, not as melodramatic, but still sort of melodramatic for this guy. Far From Heaven is a fucking all-timer. Should be way more respected than it is.
But it's going up against Punch Drunk Love.
It's going up against PTA.
Yeah,
And
PTA.
although Punch Drunk Love is probably my least favorite, I haven't seen it in a long time. I think it's the most surface level PTA. I think there's the least amount to chew on. But that's
I feel like if you asked people seeing the trailer, what's this movie about? They could tell you all the turns of the movie, but it's still fun to watch it happen.
yeah.
And it might have been the first time people were like, wait, Adam Sandler might be really good.
The Sanduzel's killing it here.
He did this and Mr. Deeds in the same year.
What a year.
What a year. I would say that there's no other director that we could turn down less than PTA.
Yeah.
But I absolutely agree, Mike, that Far From Heaven, if it doesn't make the Elite Eight, and I guess now it can't, should get a bonus show. And if it does, is going to be in contention for so many Moody's at the end of the year.
I love that. I love this definitely should have been an Elite 8 bonus show. All right. Punch Drunk Love moves on. Next up, my favorite kind of battle. How did these two end up together? They are too similar. Your 26th seed, Treasure Planet, and your 39th seed, Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron.
Man, how? Like, do you guys remember Disney just absolutely cratering all of their goodwill of the 90s?
Just flailing.
With Treasure Planet?
Yeah. There was a couple more around. Like, Atlantis was probably the start of it. And, Mike, I know that you're a big fan of all these movies, but nobody else is.
Atlantis, yes. Treasure Planet, never seen.
I don't think there's anybody who could even tell you anything about Treasure Planet. I'm almost thinking, like, how bad could it really be?
Right, and so the visuals are supposed to be sort of entertaining, but Spirit has led to Netflix spin-off movie, a Netflix series, and is supposed to be gorgeous to look at. Matt Damon plays a horse.
Spirit of the Cimarron.
Stallion of the Cimarron.
Stallion of the Cimarron.
Should we do this as a double feature with Secretary where Maggie Gyllenhaal plays a horse?
Yes. Yes, we should. She's the Stallion.
This one feels like ultimately this will be kind of an inconsequential battle because of what will happen the next round.
Yeah, I mean, I've already talked
always
about
pretend
this.
that doesn't happen.
I've already talked about this in this show, in the Secretary battle, but fuck, man, we just kicked off Far From Heaven, and one of these stupid movies has to move on. You know what, Mike? I don't give a fuck.
My vote is Spirit.
Yeah, I'll go the horse movie. Yeah.
All right, next up, very hard battle. 10th seed, Minority Report. 55th seed, Sweet Home Alabama.
You brought a baby,
Baby
to
in
a bar?
bar?
That's from
Is that
Minority
Minority
Report.
Report?
I love Minority Report, even though this probably has the most vomiting in any movie you'll ever see.
It might be the worst Spielberg movie of '02.
It's got that real the Spielberg, like this time, the really super washed out, like everything is so bright and you can't see any colors because it's like looking into a light bulb.
This movie fucking rules,
Yeah.
and like it. You
Future
think that
Crown.
it's sort of M. Nighty in that once you go, you know the twist that it doesn't have the rewatch value, and that's not fucking true.
No.
Just
All
two
right.
titans at the top of their powers, despite the
Minority
fact
Report.
that Tom Cruise is in the biggest movie of the year and Spielberg is probably going to win the Oscar this year. 20 years ago, two titans at the top of their powers.
Well, Titans stay Titans.
That's true.
That's what they say. Minority Report moves on. Next up, 23rd seed 8 Mile, 42nd seed Equilibrium, which I do want to see someday.
Equilibrium, I don't know if it was, but I remember it being talked about as a Matrix ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
That's Christian Bale, right?
Yes, Christian Bale in leather.
So yeah, that's Matrix.
That's definitely a Matrix there. I don't remember anything about that. What's the other one?
8 Mile.
Oh, of course. Hey,
That-
Mile.
it's very
The
'02,
rabbit.
right? Like
Yeah.
It's so... I
Mom
just watched
Spaghetti?
it. Full disclosure, just watched it 2 weeks ago. It's very 2002.
Did you
I
eat
have
spaghetti?
never seen it.
I was eating spaghetti the whole time.
But we
Um,
have to
Mekhi
move it
Phifer's
on,
in
don't
it?
we?
Yes.
Even though he promises Mekhi Phifer won't be in it, he is in it.
Well, he's not in the song.
You hear him go, hey.
Come on, man.
Is it? It's one of my favorite directors, Mike, or it's the guy who made LA Confidential. But is it good?
Is that true? It has its charms. I know a lot of our issues that are going to be with it, but I would love to say, does its charms rise above its issues of treating one of the greatest talents of her generation, Brittany Murphy, as nothing?
Oh, cool.
She's a nothing character.
Sweet.
She's there to be like, I'll suck your dick. You're so good at rapping. Keep trying.
Those are nice messages.
So 8 Mile moves on?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, next up is Catch Me If You Can versus Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
Okay, two directors at the
Edward
top of their
Norton?
powers. No, that's what's his name? The guy from Three Billboards and
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell. Directed by George Clooney.
That's right. This is his directorial debut.
Yeah, and it's not.
And it's written by Charlie Kaufman?
yeah,
Farts.
and it's not a bad movie at all. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff in it. But Catch Me If You Can is a fucking banger.
Well, you know what that means. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind go into that bonus bracket.
Congratulations.
The also ran. I love Catch Me If You Can. All right, next up is another Tom Hanks, Road to Perdition versus My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Oh, this is so messed up.
So, one's based on a comic book. I don't know if that helps it or hurts it.
And isn't Paul Newman in Road to Perdition?
Yes.
And he's so good in
I
it.
think his last live action. I think only he did Cars after this.
And he's really good in it, right?
Yes. Road to Perdition's really good.
A little slow, but I feel like we would dig that more than I did in 2002.
But like, My Big Fat Greek Wedding was it like made blockbuster money.
Bigger than the movies,
yeah.
Ryan.
It made $30 million a week for the entire year.
And it's like, I feel like its name is still like a structure that's used.
Mhm.
I feel like the
Mhm.
impact of this has not diminished in the least. So I love Road to Perdition. We'll put it on that list, but it just feels like we couldn't get away with not moving
No.
Big Fat.
It's so interesting too because Nia Vardalos, who wrote and starred in it, like she made a sequel. She's been in other things since then, but it was hard for her, to keep her career going, which I think speaks to like what a moment this was. This
Yeah.
exact perfect moment for this exact perfect movie.
She also has since broken up with her husband.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Oh, no.
My Big Fat Greek
My Big
Divorce.
Fat Greek Divorce.
Oh, dude, they should do it.
Why not?
I think her real life husband was in the movie so much less dreamy than the guy.
Then John Corbett from Northern Exposure.
Yeah.
Love a good Northern Exposure fan. All right, so My Big Fat Greek Wedding moves on.
Yeah,
Road to
that's
Perdition.
fucking crazy. The 1930s Tom Hanks gangster movie.
Yeah, but like insofar as we're supposed to like also capture the year I don't know. It feels right to me.
Your next battle, 14th seed, Unfaithful, which is my pick.
Oh, wow.
Versus 51st, 2 weeks notice.
Okay.
That's a lot of 2 weeks notices. Unfaithful is an adult movie. It's thrilling. It's sexy. 2 weeks notice, I think, is Sandra Bullock and Hugh Grant.
It is. It's like at that time, and this is the end of that era, just like, all right, what two rom-com stars haven't been in a movie together? So now we have this one. We've already booted out Hugh Grant with About a Boy. That's gone. But Unfaithful, man, is... I kind of hate it now because it's Mike's pick, you know? And that's sort of the role that Mike and I play. But 2 weeks
know
notice...
it's going to be a good show. It's the type of movie they don't even really make anymore.
Yeah. I mean, they also don't make 2 weeks notice either, but
they
good
that
riddance.
on purpose.
Yeah, that's because it's stupid.
Well, I like rom-coms.
Bad
So
ones?
You're stupid. Now I'm voting for 2 weeks notice. Greg?
I am voting for the other one, Mike.
Unfaithful.
Unfaithful.
You're both unfaithful. Unfaithful moves on. Next up is your 19th seed Panic Room versus your 46th seed All About Lily Chow Chow. Ryan, what is that?
So this is a movie where there's a bunch of kids. It's reading it sort of reminded me of, because I've never seen it, but reading about it, it sort of reminded me of A Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. What was the
Kanye album?
No, A Longer, Better Summer. What was the super long movie we watched 2 seasons ago?
A brighter summer.
A Brighter Summer
Summer
Day.
Day.
It just is sort of like here's a bunch of people just a little bit plotless, moving through their lives, like through a very important summer, coming of age movie. And the thing that they all have in common is they all love this pop star, Lily Chow.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah. And I mean,
Sounds up our alley.
the seating, like, what number did you say it was?
46.
46 for a movie that we've basically never heard of. That does say something, right? Like,
Yeah, those are always the ones you kind of want to watch out for.
why haven't we heard of it or heard more about it, I guess?
Probably because
And
it's
Panic-
too good.
It's too good, and
Panic
it's
Room
not
is
from
lesser Fincher, for sure.
Panic Room is Lesser Fincher, but Lesser Fincher is still better than almost everything else. I do think it's underrated. I do think it's an incredible movie.
He also did really cool 3D opening credits. For the first time I'd ever saw that, and it's
Ooh.
become like a big thing.
It's like where the letters are in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he does a lot of those Fincher shots of like going through the floor of the.
yeah.
I remember being very underwhelmed, but I was a big Fight Club fan, and so I'm wondering if I was just like, this isn't Fight Club.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
not
what
even
if you do that? I
punching.
mean, the cast it's Jodie, baby Kristen Stewart's in it, and then you got Forrest Whitaker, Jared Leto, and Dwight Yoakam. Okay, so the cast isn't that great. Some of them.
Both these movies move on for me. Luckily, I don't have to vote. Is that right?
No, you do have to vote, and you have to vote right now.
Ah, shit. I'm gonna go with Panic Room.
Greg?
I'm gonna go with Panic Room too. David Fincher's kind of a big name around these parts.
All right, All About Lily Choo Choo goes right to that bonus bracket. Panic Room
Right to the
moves on.
station.
All right, next up is The Pianist versus The Solarist.
Okay, so pianist is Adrian Brody, who
Playing that piano, tickling the ivories.
forced a kiss on Halle Berry at the Oscars.
Yeah, that's like the main thing I remember from this movie.
And they did the brat brat thing on SNL
Wow.
in a movie directed by Roman Polanski.
Oh wow!
What's the other one, Mike? Let me list the problems with the other one.
Solaris, tell us about this. Is it a Woody Allen film?
No, it's a Steven Soderbergh remake of a
Okay.
Tarkovsky movie that I've never seen.
Oh.
This one has
starring George Clooney.
This one has had, George Clooney and Julianne Moore.
Natasha McKellen.
Oh, okay, from Braveheart. This movie's stock has risen a lot. I think that if you remake a Tarkovsky movie, people are going to be like, why the fuck are you doing
Have
this?
they also subsequently remade it again? Did it come out just a few years ago, like in 2019?
Yeah, I think there's been a few.
Because
I
is
don't
it
think
kind of
so.
like is it kind of like Heart of Darkness in space?
It sounds like Passengers, that Chris Pratt, Jennifer Lawrence movie,
Oh, okay.
but it's not exactly that.
It's sci-fi, right?
But
Yeah.
as much as I love Soderbergh, as much as I really love Clooney, now that we're losing all of our stars, The Pianist is a fucking masterpiece.
But are we gonna have to? Then we're gonna have to talk about Roman Polanski.
I mean,
We'll get that out of the way in the intro. I know us.
I don't know. It's I mean, it's a really good movie. I don't know what we do about that.
Ryan,
Yeah,
Pianist.
Greg.
I'm gonna say Solaris. I'm more interested in Solaris.
All right, and Mike says Pianist. Next up, ooh, 27th seed Resident Evil
Oof.
versus your 38th seed 25th Hour.
Oh, 25th
Now-
Hour is winning this bracket.
It's Spike Lee directed, 9/11 happened during it, right? And he went, "We're using it."
Yeah, 25th Hour.
That's crazy.
I'm not going to make a big speech for 25th Hour right now because it's going out to Resident Evil, and
Yeah.
there's no need for me to do that. But this is potentially. I'm trying to run through his IMDb. His best movie since Do the Right Thing.
Oh wow!
Damn.
And again, that's
And
another.
this is Edward Norton.
This is Edward Norton, and Brian Cox is his father.
Fuck off.
Fuck off, Brian. Fuck off, Cox.
And Spike Lee, Hall of
Yeah.
Famer.
Pop Filter Hall of Famer. I think that this is in the potential to take the whole thing.
Damn, and it's 38th seed. I love that. All right, 25th Hour moves on. Kick Rocks, Resident Evil. There's never been a good adaptation of you. There never will be.
Well, what about Resident Evil 4?
Yeah, dude, that's
That
a pretty
game
good one.
rules.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's not an adaptation.
Oh, I don't understand
That's
what the word
source
means.
material. Clearly. Your 11th seed, Gangs of New York, versus your 54th seed, Halloween, Resurrection. And don't worry, I double checked. This is not Halloween H2O.
Oh, good. Gangs of New York, Mike.
Yep, Gangs of New York moves on. Your final battle.
Man, we
of
have so many
tonight's
good
episode.
directors. Sorry, Mike.
You can talk about so many good directors. Do it.
We have there's so many of our favorite directors going into next week's episode. Like, this is going to be a bloodbath. It's not my favorite Scorsese,
lot
but Scorsese's in here.
Gangs of New York.
A lot like that,
Ryan.
yeah.
Oh, that is a bloodbath. Your 22nd seed, Chicago, versus your 43rd seed, Frida.
Oh, dang.
I think Frida's okay,
Yeah.
and I think Chicago kind of rules.
Dude,
Like,
Chicago
Chicago's
is such a
stunning.
good musical.
I think that it won the Oscar, right? And it won a bunch of Oscars, and then the typical backlash happened. And then now I think people are like, Richard Gere's, we'll deal with him singing. And
Yeah.
also John C. Reilly fucking rules.
A lot
It's
of
Mr.
times,
Cellophane.
a lot of times they put a guy that can't sing in that role for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
But Zellweger and Zeta Jones are top of their game here.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
And
Queen
Queen
Latifah.
Latifah. Oh, all the musical numbers are amazing. This is a thunderous slam dunk for me. I love Chicago.
And Frida's like, next time, Sama. Next time you'll get it right. But it's a little middling.
Well, those are your battles of the evening. We are going to finish and create the Elite next week. Ryan, thank you. Greg, thank you. Listeners, keep watching these movies.